The Spider nickname stuck because of his impressive ability to dodge though. Silva competed in 3 different weight classes: welterweight, middleweight, and light heavyweight. He was actually one of the first champions to move up, and when he did, he made elite 205ers like James Irvin and Forrest Griffin look silly. You gotta see it from Griffin's point of view. The man's bigger than Silva, so he's feeling himself during his walkout, thinking he's about to have an easy night. And then there's a glitch in the Matrix. He thought he was walking into a normal bout, but for him, it was more of a live VR experience on pay-per-view. You're going to miss strikes against Anderson Silva, that's a guarantee. But when he makes you look like an amateur, stands with his hands down and avoids your combos like he's Neo, it hurts your ego. Reminds me of when my girl asked me to change a tire and I had to tell her I didn't know how to. Not to mention, every time you miss against Silva, it's a booby trap. Because while you're punching air, he's countering with an absurd accuracy. Let me take you back to UFC 101. Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin. Griffin had 16 wins, 11 finishes, and 5 losses. The former light heavyweight champ was tough as a brick. Bigger, stronger, and ready to drag Silva in the 205 mud. Fans loved Griffin's brawling style. Silva, the middleweight king, was on a 9-bout win streak. He probably moved up because he was bored, like my nephew when he asked for new toys to play with. Except Silva just beat up a man bigger than him for the lulz. From the start, it was obvious that this wasn't a fair matchup. Griffin tried to swarm Silva with volume, but Silva kept dodging him to the point it became humiliating. Matrix head slips, shoulder rolls, casually leaning back to avoid Griffin's strikes by inches. The Spider looked unbothered, just like me when people share their unsolicited opinions. He just keeps his hands low and played with a former champion like a cat bored of its toy mouse. Silva showed off his evasiveness and countered like he was Neo in the Matrix. You can't hit him. Every time you miss, the danger meter increases. Silva was embarrassing this man. And then came the finish. As he moved backward, Silva hit him with a short jab that dropped Griffin like his controller disconnected. You know it's bad when Rogan starts laughing on commentary. Forrest literally ran out of the cage after. Run, Forrest, run! So yeah, it's hard to touch Silva. But if you do, now you have to weather the storm when he actually gets serious. Counter-strike. No, we're not talking about the game. We're talking about Silva's wild counter-strikes inside the octagon. Even when you're on the offense, he's just waiting to shut your lights out with his perfect timing. People associate Silva with Muay Thai and BJJ, but he actually got his Taekwondo black belt at 18. He puts the mixed in martial arts. His style mixes multiple disciplines like capoeira and boxing. He got into MMA as a way to provide for his family, but his real passion was always boxing. That's one of the reasons why he kept boxing after his UFC run. Now, let me take you back to UFC 126, Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort. Belfort had 19 wins, 13 finishes, and 8 losses. A confident powerhouse and former champion with the fastest hands in the division. He brought chaos to his opponent's doorstep. Fun fact, Silva had said before that one of his dream opponents was Vitor Belfort, since they were fellow Brazilian legends and all. But when they met inside the cage, well, it kinda sucked to be honest with you, until it didn't. The bout started off slow. Fans were chanting Vitor Belfort's name and booing Silva because many felt the champ hadn't been putting on a show for them in his last few bouts. And as a wise man once said,
the people pay pay-per-view for really fight.
And I'll be honest with you, I was one of them. During my introduction to MMA, I heard so much about Silva, but truth be told, I nearly fell asleep watching this live. And yes, I was still a casual, but I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, during the first 90 seconds, neither fighter attempted a strike. They stood in front of each other and cautiously walked around like they were playing musical chairs. And then, it took them nearly another minute to throw a second strike. Bro, when I tell you I was about to turn it off, I'm glad I didn't though, because I was about to witness one of the greatest moments in sports history. Belfort landed some leg kicks, and Silva was doing his signature hand feints. Then Belfort tagged him, and that's when the show really got started. The Spider landed a knee strike to the body and showed off his head movement for a bit. Belfort kept charging forward, but Silva had more composure. And then it happened. He blasted Vitor Belfort with a front kick right to the chin. And if you look close enough, you could see his soul leave his body. Just like that, the bout was over. The front kick heard around the world. One of the most famous counters in MMA history. It's not like Silva never uses legs though. Let me explain. The leg kicks, unless it snaps. Sorry, we had to make the joke. It was right there. Love you, Silva. All jokes aside though, the Spider's leg kicks were a huge part of his game. Silva dismantled his opponent's legs piece by piece, and once their movement was gone, so was any chance they had left. Like most Brazilians, Silva loved football growing up, and still does. Maybe all the football games he played as a kid helped him develop strong legs. Who knows? What we do know is that unlike Pelé or Kaká, Silva used his leg strength to kick humans instead of footballs. And if you want a prime example of this, let me take you back to UFC 134. Anderson Silva versus Yushin Okami. Okami had 27 wins, 10 finishes, and 5 losses. Okami was a stoic grappler with discipline.